First off, we have the Redskins offensive line versus the Raiders defensive line. The Redskins offensive line has one of the better tackle duos in the NFL. Trent Williams is an elite tackle in his prime, and Morgan Moses is a solid starting right tackle. The interior offensive line is a little bit iffy though. The Raiders defensive line has been solid thus far. They surprised everyone by being able to slow down the Titans running game and weren't really tested against the Jets. I'm giving the edge to the Redskins here though. The Raiders defensive line has been impressive through 2 games, but the Redskins have been solid for a long time. Next up, we have the Redskins wide receivers versus the Raiders cornerbacks. Again, the Raiders cornerbacks have performed surprisingly well through 2 weeks. The Redskins let their top weapons in Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson go in free agency. The potential is there for the Redskins, but they're just too new right now. The Raiders corners have played well except for last year. This matchup is graded mostly on these 2 weeks and giving the Raiders the slight edge. The Raiders rely on a rotation of linebackers to get through the game depending on situation. That has worked out surprisingly well so far. The Redskins have a rotation on running back as well. Robert Kelly is a starter and has been solid throughout his career. He's not flashy, but he's tough and gets the job done behind a good offensive line. I'm giving the edge to the Redskins here. The running backs are solid, while the Raiders still have a lot to prove in a young season. The tight end versus safety battle easily goes in the Redskins' favor. Jordan Reed is one of the best tight ends in the NFL and has always produced when healthy. The problem is, he's very injury prone, but he's healthy now. The Raiders' safeties have played well so far, but this is their first true test. Delaney Walker had a good day, but Jordan Reed is on a whole nother level and has Kirk Cousins' trust. Edge Redskins with Jordan Reed. And now for quarterback versus defensive coordinator. Kirk Cousins is steady and consistent as a quarterback. He's thrown for over 4,000 yards the last 2 seasons and almost got 5,000 last year. He'll never be an elite tier of quarterbacks, but he's certainly an above average quarterback. Ken Norton Jr. finally seems to know what he's doing as a defensive coordinator. Norton has not been good at making the defense formidable despite having a good amount of talent until recently. Cool and steady Kirk Cousins wins this one pretty handily. And now we move on to Raiders offense versus Redskins defense. The Redskins defensive line hasn't played well according to Pro Football Focus so far in the season. You'd have to be spectacular to have an edge over the Raiders though. They have dominated in the run game and have proven to be one of the top offensive lines in football. Gabe Jackson has surprisingly struggled early in the season, but the rest of the line has been amazing. This one goes to the Raiders in a landslide. For receivers versus cornerbacks, the Raiders have arguably the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. Michael Crabtree is coming off a monster 3-touchdown game, and Cooper is a young star at wide receiver. Josh Norman is amazing at cornerback, but the rest of the group can be had. Even on the best day, Cooper can certainly get a few on Norman, but Michael Crabtree on the other side gives the Raiders the edge over the Redskins. Marshawn Lynch sure is having fun playing for his hometown team. The Raiders running backs complement each other beautifully, and even Cordero Patterson gets thrown in there occasionally. The Redskins linebackers are solid, with underrated Ryan Kerrigan being their best pass rusher. Newcomer Zach Brown seems to have taken this game personally against the Raiders after the offseason visit. I just love the running back group too much and give them the edge over a good linebacking core. Next up, we have Raiders tight ends versus Redskins safeties. The Redskins safeties have not played well early in the season. They have been graded poorly and rank in the bottom half of the league. The Raiders tight ends have been okay thus far. Jared Cook can be as mismatched and wreak havoc over the middle of the field. I'm giving the Raiders the edge here. The Redskins haven't been good, and the Raiders have been just fine, so the edge goes to the Raiders. Finally, we have Derek Carr versus Dave Manusky. Derek Carr is a franchise quarterback. He has thrown for 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions so far and hasn't had to throw for more touchdowns. The Redskins defense has struggled with Carson Wentz at quarterback, and this one won't be close. Derek Carr is an amazing quarterback, and he's playing at an elite level early in the season. In conclusion, the Redskins offense has the edge in every category except for one, and that one can be argued either way. The Raiders offense has the edge in every category. This game is going to be a high-scoring affair, but the Raiders currently have a 1-category advantage.